Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. Happy New Year and welcome. It is the second video I'm making about the top news stories of 2017 here at the beginning of 2018. So thank you for tuning in. If you want to see the top domestic news stories, the top stories of the year that happened in Japan as voted on by the Japanese readers of the Yomiuri Shimbun, the Yomiuri newspaper, then watch the other video. I'm sure it'll be right over here. Is it over here or on this side? Over there on your nav bar. Or just go click on the My Argonauts homepage and it'll be one of the two newest videos. This one is going to be all about the international stories, things that the Japanese readers that voted felt were important, things that happened in the world. And I'd like to hear about what you think, what country you're from. Say, oh, I'm from France and this was important here, or Sweden or Australia or Korea or, of course, America, Canada, anywhere you are in the world that you watch YouTube, because that's a wonderful thing about YouTube is we get to share things with people from far and wide that we would never see. 2018, let's talk a little bit about 2018. I do hope to make some more videos. There's a brand new terrace house, which I failed miserably in talking really about the old version that was in Hawaii, but there's a brand new version on Netflix, and I really do hope that I have some time to make some videos about that. Still haven't gotten a really good microphone for this whole setup yet. That is going to happen before March, I promise. I just played, I love NFL football. I was in a pool, and I came in second. Got very close to coming in first, which would have been quite a little bit of money, but second place is $100. So maybe I'll take that $100 and invest it in a nice microphone for this setup. So that'll make the audio a little bit better. Anyway, so I do hope to make some videos from time to time, but not a lot of like out exploring Japan type videos. It'll probably just be this, me sitting here in my man cave, talking about whatever is important. And even if I do make terrace house videos or videos about pop culture, those will probably go on my Taisha Jason channel. I just kind of want to separate and keep my Argonauts kind of Japan centric. Although Terrace House is obviously a show about Japan, made in Japan with Japanese people, I would probably put those reviews and stuff over on the Taisha Jason channel. So anyway, how was your new year? I hope you had a good one. I was very lazy, didn't do much of anything. Kind of saving my money. As I think you guys know if you watch the channel a little bit, I haven't been home to California, San Diego in quite a while, since 2014. So by the time I go home this summer, in July and August, it will have been 4 years since I've been home. This is the longest time I've ever been away from America. And I don't have a lot of ties to America anymore. I mean, I have family there, and that's who I'll stay with and see. And mainly it's to go see my dad. My dad is in his 80s and living in a retirement home. And my sister, all props to my sister. She is an amazing lady. Does her best to take care of him and go see him and visit him. But he doesn't have a lot of other visitors. My mom passed away, etc. So I really just want to hang out with my dad. He's, you know, there's no dementia, but, you know, there's a little bit. So when I call him, it's not like, you know, we can talk about the same thing over and over and over again. And he knows that I live in Japan. I mean, he has a concept of everything like that, but it'll be really nice to see him. And boy, do I really want to eat some good Mexican food. And, you know, I live in a town now with a movie theater, with two of them, in fact. One of them's about a half an hour away is an IMAX theater. So I'm kind of spoiled for movies now in my new town that I moved here in 2016. Movies, like going to the movies now, you know, I used to be like, oh, I get to go home to America and I go to the movies every day. That's not so much a big draw. It's mainly going to be see people and friends from high school that I still am connected with. My friend Pat just sent me an awesome package with all 6 issues of Dark Knight 3, the final Dark Knight series by Frank Miller. I'm a huge comic book fan. And, you know, he lives in San Diego. So we'll see each other. So I'm going to have a little Dr. Pepper. And, you know, my sister, my niece, hopefully I can see my niece. She lives in Chicago, but hopefully she can come to San Diego. I can only go home for about 2 weeks. I get about 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks vacation from school in the summertime in late July or in mid-August to mid-August. So I just went on and tried to find flights And boy, they're still expensive. You know, it's still going to be most of my bonus that I'll get in March as a teacher will go to my flight. But that is a goal. So I want to be active on the channel and just kind of let you guys know what's going on. Hopefully at least a video once a month. Let's just say once a month. That'd be nice. If I make 12 videos by the end of the year, I'd be kind of happy. So that's what you can expect from the channel. All right, 5 minutes in, let's jump in. Sorry if you guys were waiting. Top international stories. So if you didn't watch the other one, basically they asked their readers, the Yomiuri Shimbun, the newspaper, about 16,000 people wrote in about the domestic news stories, and a few less voted on the international stories. 11,352 people gave valid responses to this. They chose from a list, and they chose their top 10. So these are the ones that mattered to them, or they thought were important in the world. So like I said, you know, chime in and let me know in the comments what was going on in your country and what you think is important. Number one, Trump inaugurated as U.S. president. No huge thing. You know, Japan and America share such a tight relationship politically and economically, security. A lot of the Americans that live in Japan are military. That it is important to the Japanese people who is in charge in America, and they take it very seriously, even though I know we joke about Trump, and I know some of us don't joke. I mean, we know that it's serious and that he is not good for the country overall, and I'm sorry if you voted for Trump and stuff like that. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not a fan, and I'm really hoping. I don't think they're going to get rid of him in the next few years. I think he's going to be able to ride out his 4 years, but I hope, A, that he just doesn't run for re-election. But if he does, I hope to God that the Democrats can throw somebody at him that will beat him if that happens. But anyway, a few of his you know, things that he did while he was in office. But back in January, obviously, he took control and became the president. Number two, probably not a huge surprise, is a story about North Korea. They held their 6th nuclear test. They launched more missiles. If you watch the Abroad in Japan channel, he made an interesting video that kind of went viral where he was woken up by a missile warning at like 6 a.m. because, you know, if you look at a map, you know, Korea and Japan were very close, and I live very close to Korea. Definitely they could blow me up in an instant if they wanted to. I don't think about it really day to day, and it doesn't, like, I'm not worried. I don't worry about it. I just don't think he would ever do it. But Trump is crazy, and Kim Jong-un is crazy, so that's not good. But yeah, it's scary. It's scary because now the latest, I think, that I saw from a friend on Twitter who lives in Japan was that they're putting like weaponized anthrax or something in the cone of the missile, and instead of a nuclear thing, you know, that would disperse in the atmosphere or what, you know, I mean, it's scary. That is scary. I just guess I just don't let it invade my everyday thinking. But yeah, I can see why that got big news. Another Korea-related story was voted number 3. Kim Jongnam was murdered. In case you don't know, he's the eldest son of the late Kim Jong-il and the half-brother, a different mother, of Kim Jong-un. And he was at an airport in Kuala Lumpur, and somebody went up to him and injected him with some a lethal nerve agent, which is why they think maybe it was all, you know, maybe it came from North Korea, like they had him taken out. Anyway, that happened back in February. It was a big news story here. So nobody, I mean, I guess maybe he would have claim to the throne or whatever they call it, the president of North Korea position, and now they've eliminated him. All right, number 4 is Kazuo Ishiguro, a very famous novelist, one of my all-time favorite movies. If you've never seen it, The Remains of the Day with Emma Thompson and Anthony Hopkins. A fantastic movie based on a book written by this man. He is 63 and he won the 2017 Nobel Prize in Literature. He was born in Nagasaki in Japan, but his family moved to England when he was 5 years old, and he considers himself British. Obviously, he writes in English, etc. So that was a big deal. And Remains of the Day came out way back in 1989, but he's continued to write. One of my professors, a colleague from Scotland that I used to work with at the university, she loved his books and would just devour each one as they came out. All right, 5 is another Korea story. You know, South Korea's Park ousted by court. So she was the president of Korea. They had a female president. Again, come on, America. Let's step up, man. Where's our female president? She was impeached by their parliament. She was doing some dodgy stuff with like one of her best friends, and so she's the first South Korean president to be ousted by impeachment. So they got a new guy in there, and I think he's doing all right. I haven't really heard much about him. If you're in South Korea or know about South Korea, let me know how you think the new guy is doing. But yeah, so obviously our relations with South Korea, while they can be contentious, are also very interwoven, and I think we're closer allies in many ways, especially with like big companies and things like that. We're competitive, I mean, certainly, but a lot of people here, just like a lot of people in the world, have Samsung phones and things like that. So yeah, Korea is a big, and we should be close ties with Korea and China, because we share a basic culture. I say we like I'm Japanese. Japan, China, and Korea share a lot of basic cultural things that they should be more closely tied together. There we go, English. So we'll see. Number 6 is about France. Macaroon. No, that's a type of cookie. Macron, I don't know if I said that right, elected French president. A pro-European Union centrist, Emmanuel Macron, won the French presidential runoff on May 7th, beating the far-right person, which I guess is good. She was Marine Le Pen. I think she was pretty dodgy. She was like really anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant. I didn't really like her. He wanted them to stay in the EU, France, and so they probably will, unlike Britain. But anyway, so a lot of Japanese people love France. It's a huge tourist destination for Japanese people. So we kind of keep tabs on France here more than I would probably be aware than if I lived in America, for instance. All right, number 7, Britain tells the EU it'll leave. The whole Brexit thing was followed closely here. A lot of people, I have one colleague at my current school who's from England, and he got a lot of questions about it from the Japanese staff. I can't even tell you the amount of people that came up to me as an American after Trump won, like, Jason, why did your people vote for that man? And I had to be like explaining it, like almost like defending America. I'm just like, I don't know, it's not my fault. So John, my British colleague, again, a lot of people are like, why did they vote to, why did they vote to leave? It doesn't make sense, But there you go. Number 8, a sad story, again, from my home country. Shooting rampage in Las Vegas. The guy who opened fire from the 32nd floor. 58 people dead and over 400 injured. I just read a story about like the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. They've taken away all the do not disturb signs. You're not allowed to put that sign up on your door of their like resort hotels that are right around the resort, right around the park. You're only allowed to put like, it's got different wording on it, but basically it's like the staff can still knock and come in, and you have to be aware of that. And if you don't want them to come in, like when you're not there, you can arrange that with the front desk. But basically, I was like, wow, that's weird. I wonder why. Are they trying to crack down on like people putting 5 people in a room made for 2 or something, and it's because of this. This guy was stockpiling all these weapons and guns and everything in his room for like a couple days before he did the attack, and all he did was put a do not disturb sign, and so no maids would go into his room and discover all these weapons. And I guess they don't want that happening at other hotels. I think it's happened in some other Las Vegas hotels too. What can I say? I am so anti-gun, and that's one of the reasons I live in Japan, where they just don't have them. And you can leave don't leave a whole lot of comments about pro or anti-gun. If you have your opinion's valid. But I certainly live in a country that benefits from strict gun laws. And that's all I'll say on that, I guess. All right, number 9, the U.S. announces a withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accords. This was a big deal. Climate stuff and recycling is taken so seriously here, and the Kyoto Clean Air Act and all these things. And of course, Japan also does some questionable things like whaling, etc. But for the most part, they are a very environmentally friendly country. They're really trying hard to think about the environment as they build and design and plan the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, etc. So for Trump just to say, nah, we're not going to take part. I mean, Trump is such an idiot when it comes to this stuff. He just tweeted out something like, it's cold here in New York. We need some climate change to make it warmer. I mean, he just has no concept of what he's talking about. And, hopefully we'll get somebody more progressive and forward-thinking in the next round, and we can make some strides toward making the planet a little bit safer and better for the future. And then the last one is a story that I didn't know much about until I just read it here. And but natural disasters happen. Unfortunately, every year we get a terrible natural disaster. And the number 10 story, and I think it's because it's an earthquake, and so Japanese people are very empathetic when it comes to earthquake stories. But it's the deadly 7.1 earthquake near Mexico City in September, on September 19th. 369 people lost their lives in the quake. So condolences to them and the people that knew them. So that was what they thought was important. A lot of Korea stuff. Some of it, not a lot of happy stories, unfortunately. Shooting, Brexit. I guess the guy getting elected French president, if you were for him, was a good story. And I guess the one really nice one out of all of them was the guy winning the Nobel Prize for Literature. So that was what they thought was important in the world. Again, I encourage you, if you have one or two important stories you feel from your country, leave them down in the comments. We can have a little back and forth about what was going on in 2017. But let's say cheers. Let's say kanpai. To 2018. I hope we have a good year, and there's some fun movies coming up. I know for me, what am I looking forward to real quick? Boy, a bunch of Marvel movies. Black Panther looks amazing. We get it about 2 weeks later here. Infinity War, which we get like 2 months later. Japan. It comes out in like May in America. It comes out in like July here in Japan. Han Solo, the Han Solo movie, which we haven't even gotten a trailer. I'm thinking the Super Bowl. I bet you they'll put a trailer up during the Super Bowl in a couple weeks, because it's like we can't wait to see what that's going to be about. What else? Aquaman, if you're a DC fan, later in the year. What were some? Incredibles 2. I love the Incredibles. We're getting a sequel to that after like so many years. Boy, I know I'm forgetting some other big ones. I can't think of any of the other big movies coming out next year. But you know what? They're making one for me because I'm a geek about The Predator. They're making a new Predator movie, but the reason I'm excited is it's going to be written by Shane Black, who wrote the Lethal Weapon movies, and a great movie from a couple years ago with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you haven't seen that movie, highly recommended. I just watched a great movie called Wind River, if you haven't seen that. That was one of my year-end movies that I just lazily on the couch here through iTunes. Oh man, I saw Val Kilmer in like an interview on YouTube. So he had throat cancer, and now he's like he can't really talk the same. I mean, I don't know how it'll affect if he'll ever act again. But yeah, it was kind of out of the blue. I didn't know that that had happened to him. So that was sad to see. He was fantastic in this Kiss Kiss Bang Bang movie. It came out about 3-4 years ago. So yeah, he's just always been one of my favorites. He's been in some of my favorite like hardcore movies that like not a lot of people saw, like Spartan. He was great in that. Of course, you know, Top Gun, I love him as Iceman. He's in one of my all-time favorite two of my all-time favorite comedies actually early in his career that I can't recommend highly enough. One's called Top Secret, which is a zany Airplane-esque movie by the guys who made Airplane. Really like a spoof spy movie, but set in like the 40s. And he's hysterical in it. And the other one is called Real Genius, about a guy on a campus who invents this laser that's going to be used as a weapon. It's a really funny movie. So yeah, Val Kilmer, one of my all-time. And I even thought he was not bad as Batman. So, you know, cheers to Val in 2018. Anyway, I hope you have a great year, and I hope you come back from time to time. Check your, you know, hit the notification if you want an email sent, but check your inbox every now and then in your subscription box. Maybe I put up a new video and we can sit here and have a chat. Hopefully I'll do some live stuff from time to time, maybe with Victor in Nagoya or some of the other guys here in Japan. I wouldn't mind doing a few live streams from time to time. Especially like if it's a holiday Monday and I can do it on a Monday here so it's still Sunday in most of the world so you guys can have a chance to look at it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to 2139, what's your favorite Beatles album? Tell me in the comments. That way I'll know you watched all the way to the end. And if you don't have a favorite Beatles album, shame on you. Go listen to some Beatles. You should have a favorite. And I will be back. Hopefully for another video in January. And for sure, if you're into sumo, I'll be on my sumo channel in less than a week, and then the new bus show starts on the 14th. So yay, sumo. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Peace. Take care.